Your patience. Traffic was horrendous this morning. I live in Alpine, and when I got on the freeway, it was stopped cold from Alpine. So, good morning, everybody. First, I'd like to thank Supervisor Aguirre for partnering with me on this item. Working with her on several issues now, I know she cares deeply about her constituents, the county, and delivering for her district. Supervisor Aguirre and I are here today because we both agree on the importance of transparency and accountability in county governance. Last year, the county was able to deliver a balance of $8.6 billion budget, but we were only able to get there by working together to close a $138 million funding budget gap. Now it's important that we begin looking at the areas with the most potential for savings and increased efficiency. And, I've always said I want accountable, efficient, and effective government. Increase the efficiency as we expect to balance the budget next year without putting at risk the county's ability to deliver on our services to the constituents who need them most. Currently, the county spends about $2.2 billion annually. Approximately 25% of the entire budget is on contracts. This is important because this is a major area where the county has the discretion and control over our spending. Some have been calling for new taxes to raise the county revenue, but we have other options too. As supervisors representing the 2nd District, that's the second poorest district behind District 1. My constituents believe that we should look inward for potential savings, accountability, and efficiency before we consider balancing the county budget on the backs of hardworking constituents who follow the rules and paid their fair share in taxes. When you look at affordability in our region, sky-high housing cost, continuing increases for water and other utilities, increases in food and health care, we can't further burden our constituents without first looking at where we can be more efficient and save money. Instead, the county should look inward to find the savings we need to deliver a balanced budget next year. The action in this board letter will help ensure the county is fully accountable and efficient. This is what our constituents expect, and it will ensure that we do not add unnecessary additional costs to residents. The Fiscal Transparency and Accountability Subcommittee we're proposing will help us accomplish this goal. And now I'd like to introduce the supervisor from District 1, Supervisor Aguirre, who has been just a joy since adding this board. Supervisor.
Thank you. Well, it has been a joy working with you as well. You have been a joy, and I'm very proud to stand here today in partnership with Supervisor Anderson to introduce this ad hoc subcommittee on fiscal accountability and transparency. We are in a pivotal moment, as all of you know, for San Diego County's finances. Consequently, federal budget actions could saddle the county with tens to hundreds of millions of dollars in increased costs for essential services like healthcare, food, and housing for our most vulnerable San Diegans. There are two routes we can take as we brace for more financial uncertainty from Washington. We can wait idly for the fiscal storm to hit, or we can take decisive action now. The choice is clear. We have a duty to be proactive and excellent stewards of the people's tax dollars. We cannot afford to wait for future budget cycles to explore every possible avenue for savings and revenue generation to sustain vital county resources and services. The scale of our contracted spending demands our attention. The county spends approximately $2.2 billion annually, as Supervisor Anderson mentioned, on goods and services through contracts. This is an opportunity for immediate optimization and fiscal discipline. This is why I'm proud to support the establishment of this ad hoc. The subcommittee's work will do a deep dive into our contracts and agreements, focusing on key areas where we know we can consolidate. For example, we will review contracts awarded prior to January 1st, 2021 to determine if newer, more competitive procurement policies can be applied. This ensures we are getting the best value of our dollar by reprocuring or restructuring outdated deals. We also want to identify if long-term contracts exceeding 5 years should undergo an earlier procurement process to encourage competition, secure better terms, and increase the economic return for our region by prioritizing local vendors. These are just 2 recommendations that the board letter states. This action is more than just saving money. It's about being good stewards of the taxpayers' dollars. It's ensuring that we reinvest taxpayer dollars back into our local San Diego economy, supporting small business growth, and identifying cost savings and new revenue. This action directly ensures that essential services remain funded, supported, and accessible to all residents. This is a critical and necessary step towards securing the county's long-term fiscal accountability. Thank you, Supervisor Anderson, for your partnership on this letter. And now we will open it up for any questions you may have.
What is the timeline you're giving the subcommittee on when you would like this deep dive to be done by?
We're going to, if approved, of course, we're asking for our colleagues' support. If approved, we're going to take a deep dive probably for a year. You know, we have yet to determine the specifics of exactly what contracts we're going to be looking at, but that's precisely the work of the ad hoc that we will be doing.
Oftentimes we don't see, you know, and especially in this climate, politicians on both sides of the aisle working towards a similar goal. Can you talk a little bit about the collaboration here and the shared interests of both of your constituents, even though you're not in the same geographic region?
Well, this is an easy one. I have the second poorest district. I have households where the household income is $58,000. That's their household income. And when you're thinking about how you're surviving, when rent can be as high as $3 or $4 grand. Supervisor Aguirre has the poorest district. So we are aligned because our constituents share that burden. So it's one thing for the northern coastal communities. They're more affluent. They're not facing the same challenges. So perhaps a tax increase wouldn't impact them changing their lifestyle. In our districts, that's a brutal change because, in fact, over the weekend I joined Supervisor Aguirre passing out food in her district. So, we have a lot of people that rely on Feed San Diego and the San Diego Foundation and all these other groups. It's really important that we're looking at both sides of the ledger. And, on both parties, not everybody's crazy. There are some common sense Democrats and Republicans, and we're showing that we can work together.
Yeah, absolutely. Hit the nail on the head. We have more in common that we don't. And I think that Supervisor Anderson has shown himself to be someone who always puts his constituents first. That is literally the ethos of my office. We have always put community first, and we share the financial challenges that our working families in our district have. And when cost of living is at an all-time high, when people are struggling to pay the rent, put food on the table, put their kids through school, I think it's our responsibility and mainly our mandate as elected officials to work together in the areas where we have common ground, putting the community first, putting our constituents first, and making sure that we maximize the resources that they've entitled us to be responsible for in the most effective and efficient way. So it is truly a pleasure to be partnering with Supervisor Anderson.
With all due respect, on behalf of the taxpayers, shouldn't our audit system already be doing this kind of thing? Have we been missing the boat over the last couple of years and not fully funding however the audits work? Why do we have to have an ad hoc committee? No,
audits are focused on making sure that there are no financial findings, right? That there's no misspending or, that we are spending what we say we're spending in the way that we are. This is about making our spending more effective and efficient. Does that mean that hypothetically, if we have a contract for X and there's only one contractor that we've been just practice been contracting with that for 10 years, are we missing out on potentially a contractor that could provide the same services for less money and in more effective and efficient way? So that has nothing to do with fiscal auditing. That has more to do with us being good stewards of the people's money. I don't know if you want to
Yeah,
add anything.
and if I may add, government's always looking to improve. We have this board over the last 5 years has changed the direction of the county, and it's for the better. But the county moves like the Disney ship out there, very slow to turn. And I'll give you a good example. In my district, we wanted to rent some land to a local church for a parking lot. It took me 5 years to get it through the process. And some of that is because board policies have become super antiquated and they need to be reviewed so that we're moving with the times, allowing more people. We've had, since I've been here, several contracts that have taken years to pass after everything's been agreed on. And those are the areas that we're losing money and leaving money. And when I looked at the parking lot, they said that they did an audit, and we have fiduciary duty, and we never want to give the public good away for free. And they said, well, that parking lot should be $9,000 a month. Well, first of all, it hasn't been used in 30 years. It's just vacant land. And I said, well, why can't, first of all, no church is going to spend $9,000 for 200 parking spaces. But some money is better than no money. And when you're in a fiscal crisis, why can't we write into the contract that if somebody offers us more money, that they have 90 days to match the offer or vacate? I mean, I'm not an attorney, and I'm not trying to sound like one, but we sent a man to the moon 60 years ago with a slide ruler. We have high-speed computers, but we can't seem to find our way to get anything done. This is the team can do, and we want to do because our constituents are counting on us. For far too long, the bureaucracy it's easier to say no than actually do the heavy lifting. And in their defense, if we have a board policy that's inhibiting their ability to do something better, we're going to review that board policy and change it to make sure they have the flexibility to do the best that they can. We have incredible employees here at the county. They just have to be allowed to be as good as they can be. Any other questions?
All right, thank you so much for being here. Thank you.
And the best part is the next press conference is just a couple floors down. Thank you all.
Thank you.